What's up, guys? Welcome into the show. I'm your host, Joey Peterson, and on today's show, we're talking two big things. First off, the encouraging news that the Baltimore Ravens just got. Hint, it has to do with Lamar Jackson. So on the back half of today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about Lamar's future with the Ravens. And guys, I know we're all kind of still getting over what happened this last weekend. And if you want the Ravens to make the playoffs next season, I need you to do me a favor, and I need you to like the video, okay? I just need us to get to the dance because I know that Super Bowl is just around the corner. So if you want that to happen too, go ahead, give me a thumbs up. So guys, in my opinion, and this is where we're going to start, and this has to do with the encouraging news, I think Lamar took a massive step forward in this year's playoffs, okay? I know that the end result was the same. I know this team lost to the Bills, just kind of how they lost last year against the Chiefs. And I know he turned it over a time or two in the first half, but still, I think when you look at those two games side by side, it's easy to say, oh, it's the same thing as last year. Guys, it's not. He played far and away better. He had a completion percentage 28% higher. Sure, he got less total yards, but a lot of those yards last year against the Chiefs were garbage time yards. He had more total touchdowns, double them actually. He had a quarterback passer rating of 40 points higher. Fortunately, he didn't have the same amount of turnovers, okay? And my take on his playoff performance and my take on where he stands this offseason, going into the next season and the playoff struggles, is he did this team no favors in the first half. That's obvious. But also at the same position and at the same time, this team would not have had a chance in the second half of that game if he didn't do what he did, okay? If he didn't play how he played, they would not have a chance to go for two to possibly put it into overtime, okay? So yes, he put them in a hole, but he's also the one that got them out of it. And I think that's a massive step forward for his playoff woes, okay? And if you're with me, then I think, you know what? I think we can all rock with Lamar Jackson. I think we can all say, you know what? He dug us into a hole. He dug us into a hole, but I think we all see the steps forward. So now, let's get into the encouraging news, because I know that's why you clicked on this video. I know that's why you want to watch this video. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a comparison, okay? And I'm not going to lie to you. When you hear it originally, you're going to say, what the hell? Because one of these quarterbacks probably has 45 rush yards in the entirety of his career. But I think it's encouraging to see Peyton Manning and Lamar Jackson side by side because they are very similar with how their first 7 seasons have lined up, okay? They both went 3-5 in the playoffs. They both won multiple MVPs, and they both had 0 Super Bowl performances, okay? I'm going to go into this comparison a little bit deeper in just a second, but before I do that, what do you guys think? Do you have faith in Lamar Jackson? Give me a yes, give me a no in the comment section down below. You might get hit with a YouTube ad break in just a couple of seconds. When that time comes, don't worry about it. Scroll down in the comment section, find this pinned comment, and give me a yes or a no. So the funny thing about Peyton Manning is a lot of people only remember him for kind of that end of his career, right? The Super Bowl in Denver, the middle career Super Bowl in Indianapolis. But I think a lot of people forget how bad those first 7 years were for him when it comes to the playoffs. 1999, they lost 19-16 as the number 2 seed in the AFC. Then in 2000, just the next year, they lost 23-16 in overtime. Their offense had 0 points on 3 defensive turnovers. Then 2002, fast forward a couple of years. Okay, what, 4th year in the league, 5th year in the league, maybe he's going to figure it out. Nope. They lost 41-0 to the New York Jets, and he went 14 for 31 for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns, okay? Then in 2003, what happened? Lost AFC Conference Championship game, 24-14. He had 4 total turnovers. And then in 2005, everybody said, this is year freaking 7. He's got to figure it out. They're the 1 seed. Maybe he will. No, they lost 21-18, okay? But then what happened the next year? 2006. Peyton Manning won his first Super Bowl, okay? So I'm not sitting here telling you Lamar Jackson's going to win a Super Bowl next year. No, that's not what you're hearing. What I am saying, though, and what you are hearing is there's been a 2-time Super Bowl champion whose career started off very similarly, and yet he got over the hump, and yet he won those Super Bowls when everybody was saying he wouldn't, when everybody was saying he couldn't. And it's hard to believe people were saying that about Peyton Manning at one point, but I promise you, they were. This is from James Adler. After one of his first playoff losses, he says, despite posting his typical 4,200 yards passing during the regular season, Peyton Manning and his Colts flopped once again in the playoffs, this time suffering an embarrassing 41-0 loss to the New York Jets. Adler went on to say, over the next few years of Manning's career, there grew a continuing theme. Rip through the regular season, but stumble in the playoffs. Things in the postseason began to get so bad that some suggested he just didn't have what it takes to win the really big game. Those sound familiar? Genuinely, I think you could have just taken out Peyton Manning's name. I think you could have thrown in Lamar Jackson's name, and I think you could have put in that quote from Stephen A. Smith or from Nick Wright, and I don't think anybody would have bat an eye, okay? Coming up in just a little bit, I'm talking a little bit more about Lamar's future with Baltimore and why I think this is still the guy that's going to deliver the third Super Bowl to this franchise. But before we get into any of that, I got to talk about our friends over at PrizePicks, and you know what, guys? It is now or never because the big game's almost here. So don't miss out on the last football game of the season with PrizePicks because it's the best place to win cash while watching the big game. PrizePicks is also giving away a free pick for the big game where one of the starting quarterbacks will only need to throw 1 yard to win. If you're correct on at least one more stat projection, you can win real cash. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on PrizePicks. So check out the promos tab to tail any of our Super Sweat and Millie Winners big game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. Let's look at the NFC Championship game coming up this Sunday. We got Jay Daniels against the Eagles, and I got him more than half a passing yard, so take advantage of that one. I've got the more on Terry McLaurin and A.J. Brown for receiving touchdowns or rushing touchdowns. I think both of those guys are going to find the end zone. So download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. The link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. PrizePicks, run your game. And the thing I think that I love about all the Lamar Jackson hatred and slander, and don't get me wrong, I hate it, but I love that Lamar Jackson is more frustrated than anybody else. I love the fact that he sees it too, that it motivates him. I promise you, he's going to take every ounce of this into the offseason and into next season because coming off of the loss, guys, he was very candid. This is what he had to say post-game. He said, tonight, the turnovers. We can't have that shit. That's why we lost the game. Hold on to the effing ball. Sorry for my language, okay? And I still have all the faith in the world that Lamar will win a Super Bowl, okay? I've said it before, and I've said it again, but just because you haven't done something doesn't mean you can't do something. There's a very big difference in the two of those things. But I still have all the faith that you've got the guy in your organization, in your system that will one day lead this team to the promised land. Because you got to look at the fact of, like, what are the other options out there? You want somebody who's not going to throw 45 touchdowns and 4 picks in a year? I would take that guy in the playoffs every single day. I trust he's going to get over it, okay? I want to hear from you guys, though. Take a guess for me. What is the % chance that Lamar Jackson wins a Super Bowl? Let me know in the comment section down below. Scale it 1 to 100. If you guys haven't already, I would love if you hit that subscribe button, okay? We got daily Ravens videos, breaking news coverage. We got weekly watch parties, weekly live shows. The best part about it all is 100% free. We've gained over 10,000 subscribers since the month of August. We're growing like crazy. I want you guys to be the next people to join us right here on the Ravens Rundown. I went into this just a little bit ago, but like I've said this before when we've talked about this conversation. We've had this conversation, but you can't until you do, okay? Do you know the difference in those two words, right? I hear a lot of people saying Lamar can't win the big one. No, Lamar hasn't won the big one. But just because he hasn't won the big one doesn't mean he can never, because they've said that about a lot of people in their careers, okay? Here are some notable late Super Bowl winning QBs. John Elway, took him 15 seasons to do so. Steve Young, took him 10 seasons to do so. We talked about Peyton Manning already, 9. Drew Brees, 9. Aaron Rodgers, 6. Okay? All of those guys at some point in their careers couldn't win the big ones. They can't win a Super Bowl. Same things you're hearing about Lamar. Now, I do have to address the critics and say there is some validity to what they're saying. Because when you look at the playoffs and you look at the record and you look at everything else, there is reason to have a little bit of skepticism, right? 3-5. Only 10 touchdowns in 8 playoff games. 7 picks. 4 fumbles. He has more turnovers than touchdowns in the 8 games that he's played. But guys, I still have faith. And I still, at the end of the day, think Lamar Jackson, without a doubt in my mind, gives this team the best chance to win a Super Bowl, okay? But also, I'll admit, I would like to see a little bit of change over the next couple of years, okay? I would like to see a little bit of improvement in these playoff games in the next couple of years. But if you think there's a player out there that could take this team, this Baltimore Ravens team, to a Super Bowl not named Lamar Jackson, show him to me, please, okay? I got faith in our guy. I got faith in it. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. This has been the Ravens Rundown. I am your host, Joey Peterson, for daily Ravens coverage you won't find anywhere else. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button.